Well, hello everyone. Merry Christmas right here. But really, what does it usually mean whenever parents do say stuff like, Merry Christmas, to their sweethearts, and let's just say that like a lot of parents might even say that, much more right here, a letter to Santa. But what about, if parents do say something like, to my sweetheart? To my sweetheart right here. And so yeah, so it's like if you would actually say something like that, or maybe write it to somebody like that, and like everybody might say to you, even the nurses a lot of times, they call children sweethearts, and then also that so a lot of times it sure seems that way. Yeah, my sweetheart right here. You think that looks? I can use that right there, but still, it's like, yeah, to my sweetheart right here. And so, yeah, so if you were to actually be thinking about this a lot of times, and you're warned toward it, maybe a little bit like Valentine's Day, right? But if you're going to be writing a letter, maybe thinking, okay, write a letter to Santa Claus, or maybe if it's to talk to mommy and daddy about something, and maybe something that you would like to have on your Christmas list, right? But you see right here is talking about a button right here, and so it sure seems that way. Anybody might think that that letter, or that photograph with a letter on there, of the Santa Claus picture right here, and you're warned to where that do you think on average that whenever it talks about when we do talk about Christmas gifts a lot of times, that what does it usually mean whenever somebody says do you want more than that? Do you want some more? And so yeah, so it's like maybe if it's a box of chocolates, or maybe if it's a caramel popcorn, or maybe candy canes or something like that. If you want another box of candy canes or something like that. And yeah, so almost all the time that whenever you take 5 minutes to take a picture, and then maybe take 5 minutes to go ahead and sign your name on something, and maybe let's just say if it's a postcard or something like that, and usually on the right side right here, or maybe sometimes maybe on the bottom left or so, but still that you see something on here that says button right here. And so really, anybody who's going to receive a gift from Santa Claus, and I have right here this message right here, say that like, yeah, I would like to be seen as helper, but then also the cool toys. And so really, that what do you think that will be the top on Santa's list right here of like the cool toys are the toys that include buttons, right? So you have a button right here, an example of a button right here, and everybody might think that okay, yeah, any source of a greeting card, or maybe a ticket to the North Pole or something like that would include something that such as a button, right? And so you're thinking that yeah, a photograph right here, but then a button right here. And so it sure seems that way, that if you do get a special letter of any kind, or anything such as any sorts of invitation by email, and you might think that even an envelope, and you might think that okay, yeah, that talk about for a button, but like everybody might think that you want to go ahead and teach little brother, big sister, cousin, a friend of yours, whoever, that this is how this works. And do you think that maybe Santa Claus could maybe be telling you that yeah, you go ahead and show somebody how something works for sure, that have you been a good boy this year? And so like, yeah, you go ahead and yeah. So like, let's just say that if you include on there saying that I was able to teach mommy and daddy something important. So if you were to say something like that, and like everybody might think that I was able to show yeah, I was able to show my mommy, I was able to teach my daddy something. And so yeah, you've been a good boy. And maybe if that's something that you could say, like say that yeah, you were able to show somebody something, you were able to teach them something. And So it sure seems that way that you know, the same thing that maybe goes by with a button, a button that you can push, and then, yeah, a button that you can push and that turns on the TV or something like that. But like everybody might say that if you consider those to be cool toys, but still, you go ahead and show somebody something, and it's like the first thing that they think about is, hey, cool, it does it for you or something like that. But still, but talking for much, much more right here. So any packages that you do buy nowadays, even if it is an Xbox game console or Sony PlayStation, or maybe if it is a Samsung television, that you would see something like much, much more right here. And so you're warranted, yeah, to my sweetheart right here. And so you're thinking that really, what exactly do those necessarily, what does that mean necessarily? And like everybody might say that, even if it's snowing outside and maybe from what all that's going on, but still, it's like you're thinking it much, much more right here. So it sure seems that way that yeah, that whenever you have your picture taken, by the way, that the first thing that you think about is that yeah, that if you received a box of chocolates, and let's just say that despite about if you like it or not or something like that, so like yeah, somebody's willing to be extra sweet and kind to you for that reason, and so it's like yeah, is it really about teaching you something? Or is it really just about, depending on what mood that they're in? Most of the time, like everybody might say, that it's all about, yeah, that they want to treat you special and kind, and knowing about that, when we talk about a photograph with Santa right here, and you're always thinking that, especially during the Christmas holiday, that, yeah, that, yeah, I can see that happening, by the way, everybody, that if it's homemade Christmas cookies, especially if it's whole fresh baked cookies, or maybe if it was something about, maybe something special from Santa or something like that, I actually see that. So if you were to include something like that right there, talking for much, much more right here. And so you would want to know too that whenever you first received this gift, by the way, that the first thing that you may have saw was a photograph sitting right next to Santa Claus right here, but really that that you would include a much, much more right here to my sweetheart or something like that, and just thinking as toward it, yeah, that there's more gifts and there's more opportunities available to you, but yeah, you just have to you solve, they'll give you a puzzle or something like that, or you just have to answer the question correctly or something like that. But really, but when we do talk about conversations a lot of times, whenever it comes to exchanging Christmas gifts, though, that you want to know too that why and how often do you think that you would include a much, much more on a greeting card? And let's just say that yeah, that especially if it's Christmas, that that the first thing that you see right here is this photograph sitting right next to Santa Claus right here. But one thing that you don't really see right away is the button, an invitation to connect on call, or maybe to write a special letter to Santa Claus or something like that. And so, like everybody else might say, that if you're going to be Santa's helper, and 102 that that yeah, that yeah, who gets to go first? And so that's another thing that I want to mention right here is that yeah, who gets to go first? And yeah, you first, yeah, you first or something like that. You first and me, me second or something like that. Me second or something like that. It's like everybody might say that you get into these conversations a lot of times if it's with a friend of yours, friend or little brother. Friend, little brother, right here. So it's like, so you're always want to know too that that if you were to have your picture taken sitting right next to Santa Claus, then the first thing is maybe going to be first is that you're going to have brother and sister waiting in line, and then they're going to maybe be arguing about who gets to go first and who gets to talk first. Who's going to be the first one to tell Santa the story about yeah, about what's been going on and everything. So it's like, yeah, who gets to go first, and so it sure seems that way. That really, does the question kind of go by that whenever you do think about that and you're wondering toward it, why do you think that maybe anybody would want you to go first? Just because that maybe you have, maybe that you're willing to present it, or yeah, for people might say that, yeah, well, I think you should go first. No, you should go first. Yeah, it's all. I think really it's all about cause and effect, right? See what happens for anybody. Yeah, there's not enough information really to see what's really going on. So, like everybody else might say, that if you have a battery light up candy cane, even if you have a candy cane or maybe something new, you don't really know how it works and necessarily what it is. So that's why it seems like when we talk about cool toys, by the way, it's like, yeah, talk about for the cool toys. All I want for Christmas is the cool toys. But it's like, yeah, that yeah, show me, please show me how this works. So it's like, yeah, so you thinking that yeah, if you want to go ahead and put that in big words right here, big wordings, but every time you think about that, yeah, and much more right here. Please show me how that works right there. If you're willing to show somebody how something works for sure, and if it works very well, then chances are that somebody's going to make that request saying, much, much more right here. That, yeah, if it's Christmas morning and you see this right here, yeah, all you really see is that the front of the card right here with brother and sister right here in front of Santa Claus. But it's like, yeah, the first thing you're going to be thinking about is that, yeah, I see a picture right here, but I didn't really look real closely right here if there was a button right here, or if there's like a little envelope right there that you just tap on that from, if you received a text message or something like that, but still. So how often should you use much, much more? And everybody might say that you would really use it mainly because of the fact that you are willing to make a bigger offering, or like everybody else might say, especially on Christmas morning, that that right there, yeah, if you want some more, hey, we can give you more. If like yeah, fill out this order form or something like that, or that please tab on that button or something like that, or something like that, and so really that so when we do talk about much, much more right here, that you might even think that really that do you think anybody would want to hear something such as yeah, that's all, folks, or something like that. So I don't know if anybody, yeah, especially if it's an engagement ring, by the way. If it's an engagement ring, I don't think anybody really wants to see that right there. That is all. That is all. And like everybody might think, especially on Christmas morning, you should know for sure that a lot of kids would say, it looks like a 7, doesn't it? If I use that, but that is all. But really, that if you were to put that on a greeting card for sure, and people want to know too, that's all right there. And so each time you think about that, yeah, just kidding or something like that, but really that when we think about a greeting card, by the way, a letter to Santa, that you see something right here that looks like a button right here, and you're thinking that that yeah, that you've heard that before, but really that when we're talking about a photo sitting right next to the Santa Claus right here, and then let's just say if you give them you give a silly face on that photograph right there, and want to know that you put hey, that's all, that is all that I have or something. Yeah, that's all. that is all, or something like, yeah, you put that on there sideways, just like that right there, and say is to where, yeah, if that's all really all that you gotta do. But I tell you one thing, everybody, that any photos that you have taken of with Santa Claus right here, and you're thinking that yeah, that and much more. So what does that usually mean? Whenever you whenever you say that, and like everybody might say that, that usually means is that if you've been a good boy, a good girl, or so, and you're thinking that yeah, somebody's gonna be treating you special and kind, and they're willing to do more and be flexible. I'm like, yeah, like if we're talking about maybe on a greeting card or so, but it sure seems that way. That I see parents doing that most of the time. I see a lot of mommy and daddy doing that a lot of times. Is that what does that usually mean whenever you do see that? And like, let's just say if it's written sideways right here, and like on Christmas morning that you see that, and they give you something, and then it's like, yeah, you want some more, like, yeah, if it's hot chocolate or if it's eggnog or anything like that, and everybody might say that, yeah, and much more. So if I were to, yeah, go ahead and put that in big letters right there. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm like, yeah, like everybody say, I'm just showing everybody here. I could put it down here, but still, you don't need to put that on the greeting card right there, blocking the picture or nothing. But still, it's like every time you think about that and you're wanting to, yeah, much more right here. You're to my sweetheart right here, and yeah, anybody might think too that that photograph that was taken in front of Santa Claus, by the way, and you're one to know too that that yeah, unless if we're talking about for Valentine's Day, you send somebody a greeting card, the picture in front of Santa right there, to my sweetheart, and then you include right here, yeah, especially if it's supposed to be maybe an engagement, moment of engagement or something like that. Like if you're trying to propose, or if you're invited to go to a Christmas party or something like that, and so I say to my sweetheart or something like that, and you want to know too that that the first impression that you do get, in front of Santa Claus right here, and but really, how often? I'm like, yeah, like everybody might say, if whenever you go to the doctor, by the way, that the nurses and doctors are going to be calling you, are going to be, saying, yeah, okay, sweetheart, and yeah, the sweetheart right here, and you're always want to know too that that if you're going to be writing a letter to Santa Claus, and maybe if you're going to be going to a Christmas party for sure, that you're always want to know too that sweetheart pretty much means is that it's another way of saying is toward it the person likes you, or what's a good definition for talking about for sweetheart right here. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, that you treat the kids special and kind. And do we necessarily think that most parents would say that that yeah, it's all about is toward it that there's something about you that they really like about what you look like or something like that, or what is it that you do, or maybe just because that you are their guest for the day or something like that. And most of the time, that anybody who shows up for anything they have to offer you, for sure. But it's like every time you do think about that, and you always want to know too that you get the idea, just by looking at that box of Lucky Charms that and I'm like, yeah, you go ahead and enjoy a favorite recipe or something like that. You enjoy those homemade pancakes or something like that, or those blueberry muffins. And the first thing that you think about is that, yeah, it was a photograph of you with your tongue sticking out. And somebody says that they want to use it for their recipe for their homemade blueberry muffins or something like that. And or for their eggnog or anything else. and you're always want to know too that yeah, well, really that if everything could work just by the touch of a button, and you should already know too that it's considered the cool toy for sure. Like everybody say, anything that maybe glows in the dark or something like that. But every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward it, yeah, please show me how that works right there. So like, let's just say that yeah, you include that message right there. Please show me how that works, and then you go ahead and show somebody, something like you have a photograph right here, and then Santa Claus, with the Santa Claus, and let's just say maybe a few other things. You show them how that works, and you're warned to where that all you have to do is just push that button right there, and then it goes to the next page or something like that. But still, every time you think about that, and you're thinking that sometimes you see much, much more right here. What exactly does that mean? And like everybody else would say that that means that they're willing to make you an offering. They're willing to give you they're willing to to do more for you or something like that. And so every time you think about that, letter to Santa Claus, or maybe if it's the elves, and like everybody might say that the way you think about that too, and you're thinking that whenever you do look at that photograph sitting right next to Santa Claus, that it sure seems that way, that you only had maybe 2 minutes to talk to Santa about anything that's going on, and that's why it seems like that, to where that 2 minutes right here does not really give you a whole lot of time really to talk about stuff. And like everybody say, even if it's 3 in the morning, that maybe that the children it doesn't really give them a whole lot of time really to like, and well, what would you like for Christmas? And that is why it seems like everybody might say that you had that special nightlight of yours that you have in your bedroom or something like that, or anything such as that card, that the Secret Santa card from Santa Claus right here. But it's like, so it's like every time you tell your teachers about that, about the fact that that you go ahead, and I'm like, I can tell everybody that it all kind of started over the fact that you go ahead and write a letter to Santa Claus right here, and you're thinking that you write a letter to Santa Claus right here, but then it's like the first thing that you're going to be thinking about is that I would like. I would like, and I would like, and if you want to put a apostrophe or a comma or something, I would like I would like a puzzle. A puzzle. I would like a puzzle that that glows in the dark. I would like a puzzle. I would like a puzzle, and I would like a tablet. I would like a tablet. So it's like, so you have maybe one request or maybe two requests that you make on Santa's list right here. And people might say that, what do you think is going to be in the stockings, for sure. But still. So you have right here, maybe 2 days before Christmas that you go ahead and write these requests on Santa's list right here. And you're thinking that how much is too much, and then how much is more. But still, but it's like you're thinking that what are, I'm like, like everybody might say that I would like a puzzle that glows in the dark. So the first thing that you're going to be thinking about for sure is that you look at that photograph right there, and you're thinking that that the first thing that you're going to be thinking about for sure is that do you think, I'm like, who gets to go first to so it's like every time you think about that, by the way, you're always thinking that really, was it really hard to be able to you decide who gets to go first to be able to sit on Santa's lap to have the picture taken, and then the sister or maybe the brother or the cousin is going to want to go next and all that. But still, whenever it comes to learning something new, by the way, that people might say that whenever it comes to learning something new, and I see this, by the way, everybody might say that, yeah, anything new or anything suggested, like, yeah, new, anything new suggested, any ideas for sure. I see that happening, by the way, everybody, that whenever you think about new ideas, new suggestions, though, for sure, they're going to say that for sure, that, yeah, they're going to want you to go first just because. They're asking you, what idea do you have in mind? And, yeah, any new ideas or something like that. So, in case if anybody's want to know, too, that yeah, that, you go ahead and write down those ideas for sure, People might say, yeah, any ideas for what you want? I'm like, yeah, well, for sure. You see that picture right there in front of Santa Claus right there, and you're wearing to where, hey, that, you got that silly face right there in front of Santa Claus, and you're thinking as to what exactly were you thinking about whenever you were sitting on Santa's lap, by the way, and you're thinking as to where that, yeah, that, whenever you do, the first thing that you think about really is that, am I, yeah, am I that desperate for something I really wanted? Yeah, am I that desperate for something I really wanted? And I guess that's going to include something like, yeah, you go ahead and the things that you do if you're that desperate for something for sure. That, yeah, but still, everybody's maybe going to say that, you're that desperate for something that you don't really think about something until the very last minute or something like that. But, still. But everybody might say is toward, yeah, who gets to decide who gets to go first and all that. But still, why do you think that you would include my sweetheart, yeah, to you much, much more right here? So everybody might think that, yeah, mommies and daddies would say something like that. I think mainly because of the fact that, knowing that, yeah, letter to Santa Claus or something like that. But still, that, it's mainly the look on their faces a lot of times. And it's like, yeah, especially if it's on Christmas morning, this is the look that they got on their faces whenever they wake up on Christmas morning. And like everybody might say that, everybody might say that, especially on Christmas morning, that this is what the kids look like, especially on Christmas morning. Yeah, I'm still in my pajamas, by the way, and I don't know if I really want my picture to be taken, especially whenever Santa Claus gets here. Everybody might say that, I don't really want my picture taken in my pajamas, Santa Claus. So yeah, if it's Mrs. Claus, and so like everybody might say that, especially if it's going to be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't really want my picture to be taken, especially in my pajamas. So what do you have to say about that? Like, and well, especially, yeah, especially if you've been sick for quite a while, and maybe if you have been, like, yeah, if you've been struggling a lot with trying to, make ends meet, anything else that you were working hard on, and so that's why it seems like that, every time you do think about that, and you're always want to know too that, are you ready? Like, what does ready even mean, really? But still, ready? Ready for what? Like, yeah, so every time you do hear that, by the way, and people want to know too that, really, what does that really even mean in general? And a lot of parents would say that that pretty much means is to where that that yeah, that are you are you looking forward to the next opportunity? And it could also mean that that yeah, that you're about ready to see something, see something incredible. And so really, that every time you do think about that, you want to, yeah, I would like a puzzle that glows in the dark. I would like a tablet. Are you ready? Like an, I'm sorry, what was that? Are you ready? So it's like, yeah, so every time you do think about that, and maybe anything that's going to be written down on a greeting card, and let's just say that the first thing that you read is maybe a letter to Santa Claus or something like that, and it's going to maybe, like, yeah, there'll be like something on the front or something like that that says, like, yeah, you're the little boy or something like that, that's me right there. Yeah, that's me right there, saying that. But then right down here on the bottom, yeah, right down, I'm like, yeah, maybe right down here, you can put on here, yeah, Santa Claus. Yeah, letter to Santa or something like that. And then you see right here, like, yeah. So whenever you first look at the letter, you see something like, such as, there was a response that happened or something like that. So yeah, so you start a conversation a lot of times, and it's like, you're always want to know too that really, why do you think that you would be arguing with anybody about who gets to go first whenever it comes to talking with Santa Claus and maybe getting their picture taken with Santa Claus? And everybody might say that really that if that invitation's in your name or something like that, but still that half the time you always want to know too that really, how does it all really start in general? But people might say that well, it all started. No, the fact of the matter is I think it all started whenever you showed somebody how it works. You show somebody how it works, and for sure, I think Santa Claus would even say too, you go ahead and show mommy and daddy how this works, and I am sure they will, get you something a little bit more than that, and they will treat you special. And I don't know how many of us will maybe think that if that's really the truth of the matter, that you'll be a good boy, you're gonna go ahead and be Santa's helper, show somebody how something works for sure. You go ahead and be a good Santa's assistant, and for sure, yeah, I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll give you much more, and so yeah, you go and show somebody how something works, because a lot of those seniors, by the way, are going to maybe say that if everything went by a push of a button, then I'm sure that they would probably use it, right? So anything, yeah, anything on a greeting card for sure. You might even think too that I would actually like my box of chocolates or my box of grandma's cookies. I would like those delivered if all I had to do is just push a button, just show me how it works, and then for sure I would use it. And so yeah, if this right here was you sitting right next to grandma, and you're sitting right next to Santa, you group picture with Santa Claus right here, and you go ahead and tell somebody that show me how this works, and everybody might say that yeah, I'll be nice and sweet and kind to you, and if you show me how that works, and tell everybody that especially on Christmas morning, that you're always want to know too that what exactly was going through your mind whenever you had your tongue sticking out like that, and what do you think that the sister was thinking about during her time? And I don't know if I really want my picture to be taken. I really don't want my picture there, but still, I'm in my pajamas, or yeah, I'm not even awake, and everybody might even say too that you're supposed to be asleep, just to get that surprise. By the way, and who really made that rule? Well, really that everybody say that, especially if it's on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, that you should be asleep. You need to be asleep, just to be able to yeah. So like everybody say, especially if it's Christmas Eve, that they would suggest you need to be asleep for these presents to be delivered, for that surprise, and then of course for that for the work to be processed. So everybody might say that if you do while you were asleep, by the way, that you may think that there's a lot of missed opportunities, and a lot of children might think that way, to where that while you were sleeping, that yeah, you missed the Christmas party, or yeah, you were not able to do a lot of things just because that maybe if you've been sick or something like that, or that you had like there was some other things that you had to take care of, and so that is why that maybe some parents would suggest that they say to go buy the sweetheart right here, and so every time you do think about that, and you're always thinking that really, why is that so special? But still, you have your picture taken right here, and like everybody might say, you go back and look at that, and you see that you have some of those photos saved on your phone, by the way, and you're always thinking that why is it that mommy and daddy keep bringing that up, even if it's been a year later and at 102, that you look back at those photos, by the way, and you're always thinking that that is so cute. Just the way how I remember it, and just the way how it was all put together. I just think that that is so sweet. That is so cute, and so it's really just not the way of how you want to teach it for sure. For real, right? The way that you want to show, and like everybody might say that anything new, by the way, is very precious, and I guess very special to your parents. But when we talk about for much, much more right here, and like yeah, it's all about the fact that now parents are now even saying that yeah, that they're willing to be extra sweet and kind to you, just because of the fact that that there was something about you that made it special. There was something about that tradition that they don't really yeah, they don't want to forget about it. And even if it is a year later, like everybody might say that even if it is 1 year later, that 1 year later, it could maybe be 5 years later. 1 year later, 1 year later, they don't want to forget those memories either, those precious memories. And like everybody might say that every time you do think about it, by the way, you're always thinking that 1 year later, they want something to keep by memory. And a lot of parents would probably say that that's just how that they wanna do that. And to where that they look at all those photos right there, and they're gonna say that despite about if you had that silly face right there, and maybe despite about that if you got a candy cane or maybe a box of chocolates, that what does much, much more pretty much mean right there. But anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a great day.